What's going on, you guys? My name is Tyler Pugh, and welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday, where I take the actual deals that I am doing and breaking down the numbers so you can see how us as investors come up with our offers. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping at first. We're going to go over a couple of terms, ARV, and most of you as agents know what this is: cost of sale, rehab, profit, holding costs, and whether we're just going to leave that out, and holding costs. All right, so ARV is after repair value. Cost of sale is taking into account commissions, closing costs, utilities, taxes, and insurance, and selling costs on the back end. Rehab is just what you're going to spend to put the money in the property. Profit, obviously, your desired profit that you want to make on any specific deal, and your holding costs. Most investors are using hard money or private money. For example, I get most of my hard money at 12% and a point. There are other investors that have a better deal if they put money down. And then you have private money, which usually is 8 to 10% and no points, and they're usually covering 100% of bursts in rehab. So it's basically the cream of the crop when it comes to borrowing. All right, so the deal we are breaking down today is Redfield. Hopefully you guys can read my handwriting. It is definitely chicken scratch. So we have the ARV on that one. We had it as 1.2 million, right? That's the ARV, so that's what we think it's worth once it's fixed up. Obviously, we have to subtract the cost of sale. So an easy way to do this is just take the ARV and multiply it by 0.95, right? And once we do that, we get 1,140,000. All right. So now we've done, we have the ARV, we have the cost of sale calculated, and then we have the profit that we want to make. Now, something along the lines of this, with the property being worth so much on the back end, we would like to make 200 grand once the flip is done. So we take that 200 grand away from the 1,140,000, and we are now at 940,000. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to take out the rehab. We budgeted 300 grand for the rehab on this one. It's almost 3,000 square feet. It's got an acre lot. It's irrigated. It has horse privileges. So it's, we want to do something special with the backyard, or whoever buys it from us will want to do something special with the backyard, right? So we take out the 300 grand. And after that, we are left with 640,000. Now, after that, obviously, the only thing that we have to subtract is the holding costs. Now, on this one, it's we're getting 10. Well, the investor is getting 10% and no points, so it's actually a really, really great rate for hard money. After the holding costs, we budgeted about 6 months of holding costs, so that's around 40 grand. And that leaves us at 600,000. Now, when you take a look at this, if we were going to flip this, this is exactly where we would be at, would be the 600,000. But we actually did not end up flipping this one ourselves. We actually did sell it for a fee. Now, when we had the conversation with the agent, she had let us know that the sellers were looking for around 500 grand, right? So obviously, when you run the numbers and everything, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, we can definitely do that. So we had some competition on this one, and we end up having to, accept a counter offer. Our counter offer that got accepted was 515,000, and then we are also paying the agent commission of 3%. So the seller's paying 3%, we're paying the other 3%. So our offer came out to 530. Is where we went under contract at, and then we deposited our earnest money, which was $10,000. We floated it to one person who I knew was going to love this area, love this project. Actually, had a project two doors down. I didn't even realize it until after I had a conversation with him. So, again, to recap, right? We have the We have ARV, cost of sale, rehab, profit, and the holding costs, right? ARV was 1.2 million. We multiplied that by 0.95 to get 1,140,000. That takes care of the cost of sale, right? So agent commissions, closing costs, utilities, taxes, and insurance, selling costs on the back end. We take out the profit that we wanted to make or the investor wanted to make, right? So it left us with 940,000. We took out the rehab, which is what we budgeted at 300 grand, left us with 640,000. And last but not least, the holding costs of 40,000 was calculated in there. So, like I said, if we were going to flip it, our max allowable offer was going to be 600 grand. Now, when we talked to the agent and everything, learned what the seller was looking for and what terms they were looking for, we settled on 530. We gave them a 60-day post possession, and then we actually ended up closing on it and reselling it for that 600,000 number, right? And what was interesting too about this specific one is the 60-day post possession. The sellers are elderly and everything, and we usually do a holdback or some type of lease back to kind of offset the hard money costs. In this case, our fee was large enough to where we actually paid the buyer's first hard money payment. So it ended up being a really great deal for us. But I wanted to show you guys like the actual numbers and kind of how we come up with our offer, right? And hopefully this breakdown makes sense. If you're an agent in Arizona and you have a deal anywhere in Maricopa, Pinal County, let me know. I'd love to be your buyer for you, or I'd love to connect the dots for you. But thanks so much. Have a great day.